Boom, we're live, baby. We are live with Taylor Jones, Corey Gannum, and Reezy's about to join us soon. For those of you that don't know who Corey is, I personally think you're one of the best in the space at wholesale in terms of putting content out and teaching people. You did what are your sales? 4 million over the last 12 months?
Thanks, man. Yeah, so I think rolling 12 months, we're at like 3.2, I want to say. So we should end 2024 with like 3.5 year to date, and then lifetime, I'm around like 13 million, something like that. So now, of course, there are guys that do my annual revenue every, few months, but
Taylor's one of them.
yeah, Taylor's killing it. So but yeah, it's fun stuff, man. Lots of good people in the space.
Audio. Can't hear you, Taylor. But he'll be back in a second.
How was your Thanksgiving, man? What'd you guys do?
It was good. Went down to Atlanta. My dad wanted to just go to a bunch of museums. So went down there with my girlfriend, my girlfriend's friend, her dog, and my mom. And we just went to museums. So
It's a good crew.
in an aquarium. Yeah,
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep, loud and clear.
Okay. Word.
So we're just talking about how much more you sell than all the big wholesalers out there. So do you want to talk a little bit about your business?
Well, Taylor's also and sorry to cut you off, Taylor. I was gonna say real quick, you're like the epitome of quality over quantity. I know, and obviously I'm not gonna put your business out there, but I know that there's just like a couple of brands that you work with that make up like a ton of revenue. So that's, I think, if anything, a message to the audience. It's like, guys, it doesn't take 50 different brands to do a lot of money on Amazon. It takes a couple, right?
Yeah, man. Pareto principle, I think like 80, I think that's what it's called. 80% of the profit comes from 20% of of the opportunities, But yeah, I was just telling my buddy, I mean, honestly, I think I'll finish like with 2.8 million this year. And if I can do that again next year, like I think I'll be fine with that. Like my goal isn't necessarily to get to 80 million a year. Like I'm chilling.
Same way. I've always said the same thing. I'm like, I feel like when I started, and I feel like this is how a lot of people start, they're like, oh, I want to be a top 50 seller. I want to be a top 10 seller. And I definitely had that mentality for a while. But after a while, I'm like, dude, the stuff that those guys have to deal with, like the stuff we have to deal with as, 7-figure sellers is a pain in the ass. But the stuff that the guys have to deal with at the scale of like, 40, 50, 100 million a year, it's so much worse. And after I kind of got a peek behind the curtain of what that looks like, I'm like, I'm good with, 5, 7, 8 million a year.
Even like when you're smaller like we are, you're like, oh, I have to take money, I have to take loans. Like, when is this going to be over? And then you talk to like Dan 1000 ASINs, who's like his payouts. Literally, we used to do a coaching program together years ago. And one time he shared his screen. He didn't really know about storefront stocking and shit like that. And so like all of our students are on the call. He shares his screen. We see a store name and a $500,000 pending payout. And he's still talking about taking loans. And we're just like, holy shit, like when is this going to be?
Yeah.
And so one of the things is like, you have to know when to pull money out. And I think if you're going to scale a huge wholesale business or any inventory based business, that's, that's one of the downsides is learning how to balance that. And you don't want to keep feeding this thing and all of a sudden it go bust,
Yeah. Cash flow.
100%. Yeah. What's good, Mike?
What up? Oh, we're that close now. You just call me Mike?
Yeah, I didn't call you Mike.
I was gonna say, I've never heard anybody call you Mike. I was like, y'all must be tight like that.
Yeah, we're tight. Now,
I slept on this couch.
Technically, it was my preteen daughter bed.
Yeah,
we slept in a pink princess palace.
I expect nothing less.
It was cool though. It's cool. I'm glad you came out and stayed, man, because we get to do a little bit of bonding.
Hell yeah, we're getting those videos edited, so they should be ready to rock and roll soon.
Nice. I'm excited, man.
I think it's gonna make a lot of good short form because you were going on some rants in that car.
I think so. I'm liable to go on a couple.
Yeah, I need to see more. I need to see more Reezy rants. I feel like we don't see enough of those. Like those
should be
those can do really well.
That should definitely be a series, just
Reezy rants. It's got nice alliteration too.
Exactly. As long as you know where my heart's at, you know what I mean? I feel like it's okay. Like, you know what I mean? I might kind of offend a little bit of people, but like it's okay because you can't align with everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like I would like to think that I'm at least like respectfully offending people. You know what I mean? Not just like when you say something and someone's like, I can't believe you said that, I'm out of here. And you're like, I feel bad that I ever talked to you or invested energy into trying to help you, and you're out of here over one disagreement. Like, come on, like we all disagree all the time.
Well, and if it's your genuine opinion, not everybody's, as long as you, I guess, believe it and are behind it 100%, like it doesn't really matter, right?
You
As
know
long as it's not like bad, which
what's
is
funny
your
is
opinion.
Taylor's following keeps going down, and he's like at 9,000 something now. But you know what's funny, Taylor? Like
Well,
you've probably lost what 3,000 or 4,000 followers over the years.
I got up to 12, I think, on an
Okay, so you
IG.
lost at least 2, which sounds like a lot of people. I've probably lost like 10 or 15,000 followers over the years because
Wow.
like every month I get like 400 new, and then 400 unfollowing me like every fucking month. So it's like it's burning.
You
I'm
just
sure
lost
yours
a couple right there with that F word.
yeah.
Probably.
That's probably why I lose so many. But after the election, I don't even think I post like I will post a funny Trump meme if I think it's funny. I'll
Let's
post
just keep it. Let's just keep it going. Like, like I don't know about you guys, but we had a no politics rule at Thanksgiving, and I thought it was kind of nice.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
didn't-
just had a good time, ate some food, danced around, listened to music. Kept
Yeah,
it.
that's how you get
kept it
unfollowed
nice.
going up though. You start talking about say Trump, Trump, Trump.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Dude, I
Well,
think
Wendy-
a lot of people don't like, not to steer off the Amazon talk or whatever, because I don't know what the chat looks like for you guys. I have a chat on mine because I'm streaming on my
yeah, we got all
YouTube
of them
channel
coming
too. But
That's such a love your talk, by the way, in Vegas.
rather just keep it, let's just keep it chill and stay into all that. But yeah, the polarizing shit, people don't realize that internet's so fake. Like people are like, even for example, like when I reply to your comment, I could answer it in concisely and open and like close it off, but I want to answer it, but also like make you want to ask more questions. So like my replies are always like bait to try, you know what I mean? But that's not real life. That's just the internet,
Right.
and people hire people to disagree with them and argue with them, and yeah.
It's true. I mean, it's really kind of all a game at the end of the day. And back on the Amazon topic, Wendy had a good question here. She asked, how do you get started on a shoestring budget? And Wendy, luckily you're in the right place. If you don't have a lot of starting capital, watch every one of Romer's videos, watch every one of Reezy's videos, right? Because it's my opinion, use books. If you really don't have much capital, it's probably the best way to get started. I mean, would you guys still agree that's the case in late 2024 going into 2025?
Yeah, that or as Reezy says, get a job.
Yeah, I mean that's so valid.
No, I mean, well, let's be real. Some people want different things out of it, and it's like I just saw something the other day that it was like, hey, anybody could be a professional copywriter making $1,000 a month for a client and having 8 clients recurring a month, and learn how to do that in 6 to 12 months from zero experience. And there's like 150 things all of us could come up with in the next hour that are just like that. These are skills you can learn in 6 to 12 months for free with no cash investment that can make you 6 figures plus. So it's like, what do you really want out of it? Because if you just want 6 figures, maybe growing an Amazon business is not for you. You know what I mean? But like for me, and I don't know how it is for you guys, but like not only do I want to have more money, but more importantly, I want more freedom and the ability to be like, not only maybe I don't want more work or maybe I do, but just like the option of there being no ceiling to it,
100%. And Reezy, that's actually such a good point about like the vehicle, or really the goal like dictates the vehicle. And that's exactly how I started selling on Amazon, was your video. I know you know exactly which video I'm talking about. Back in 2017, it was like 25 ways to make money online, right? And it was a long video, and I remember watching it, and like I don't even remember what all the methods were, but I was like, like I don't really resonate with this one. I don't really like this one. And then one of the methods is you at Marshall scanning Nike shoes. And I was like, oh, like that one's interesting. I'm like, I'm not out here trying to make $1 million. I'm trying to make some side money before I start my full-time job. And, fast forward 7 years later, here we are. But yeah, I think that's a kind of a good way to look at it.
And when you see Reezy doing it, it's like, if this guy can do it, I mean, come on.
Oh my God,
Exactly,
this
right?
guy over here. Get a load of this guy. Get a load of this guy over here. This guy over here.
All right.
That's
I
all
saw
the way
the
to
same
selling.
video though, Corey. That was
Yeah.
what I literally watched one
Yeah, this is
Reezy
fucking crazy.
video,
So
and then I hit the
Miami
store.
Sellers Conference is going to have this guy he made both of these guys start selling on Amazon. And like every year, like we say, like when I introduce Reezy, I'm like, raise your hand if you guys started because of Reezy. And there's like 50% of people that fucking raise their hand. So he's like on the search engine. of how to sell on Amazon. So we got.
Avery's just so jealous of that. He's always talking about it.
I'm gonna beat you one day.
I'll be happy about it, man.
Type
I
in
feel like the only way we could catch up to Reezy in terms of like influencing new Amazon sellers is if he just quit and we stayed at it for another like 5 years. Like that, I feel like that's how much of a
Yeah,
head
well, think
start.
about the reality is that I started in January of 2016.
Exactly.
And like I didn't really slow down. I didn't really slow down until like 2 or 2.5 years ago. So like let's just call it 2022.
You
And
objectively
so
make
that's
like
6
out of
years.
everyone in the Amazon community, your videos are like they're like fucking movies, whereas everyone else is like talking head. Hey, here are 5 steps to sell on Amazon, but yours is like, boom, it starts, and you talk about how you had a fucked up childhood. There's like dramatic music. It's you walking in slow motion through a thrift store. It's like okay, like people like really like are like okay, I'm about to watch like a movie, and it's only 12 minutes, and so. Like nobody else is putting content out like that. And if we did, like I did a few videos like that, you remember, and they're fucking doing well. They get a few thousand views a month.
Well,
now.
I mean, I'm not saying that I'm like they're all like that or whatever, and I do appreciate that. And I do have plenty of shit videos with not a lot of effort. And to be honest, a lot of the times the ones that you put the most effort in don't really do the best or whatever, and then that's frustrating because you feel like it's your job and you should know what you're doing or whatever. But it's just keeping at it, you know, and being intentional with it. I don't think the creation needs to be crazy, but you know, having a few different camera angles and showing it, you know, here we're in the store, but like I'm not going to talk about it in detail in the store because that's like high anxiety and also hard to film and also confusing. So let me show it in the store. But when you hear me talking, that's filmed in a comfortable environment. You know what I mean?
Stores, don't you? Like I feel like such a douchebag when I'm in the store, being like, "I'm buying this for $5. I'm gonna flip it on Amazon for $50."
No, I kind of try to. I got the new way. I try to do it is where I kind of just like film it and film myself, but don't really talk to the camera in the store.
That's what me and Steve did.
And then I'll just narrate it later, and then it gives you a good like A/B cut from the one to the other one while the sound is playing of the second cut already.
Yeah.
Not to nerd out. But dude, I was talking about because I had my group call for my mentorship program today, and we were talking about the Miami Sellers Conference because I was telling them about the deal. And also I was talking to one of my students, Corey. His name is Jim. He's also one of your students.
Yep.
I'm not sure what his last name is or if he would like me to share it, but he's doing over 100K a month. And I was having him share his story because, you know, there's people that are like on their way to 10K or like have crushed 10K and did 100K a year, but are just like, man, how do I get to 100K a month? And like, what is the main difference? And Jim was talking about networking with other people in your program and you. And specifically, I was just picking his brain, and he was talking about how you taught him to use Smart Scout to find brand opportunities to look for brand direct opportunities without trying to swim in too big of a pond, without trying to go through all the boring details or whatever. But I was like, I was super pumped, you know, because I was just asking him, you know, I was having my more senior students share with the more early ones. And it's just always good to hear that people are out learning and from other people that I know as well, you know?
Well, 100%. And first of all, shout out to Jim. He is a fantastic example of somebody who has successfully made, and I wouldn't even say a transition from retail arbitrage to wholesale. He's still doing retail arbitrage and he's crushing it with it, but he's just added wholesale to his portfolio. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, listen, if you're selling 50, 60, 70, in his case, you know, 50, 60K a month with retail arbitrage, don't like, why would you stop doing that? Let's just add wholesale on top of that by literally just calling the brands that you're already selling in your retail arbitrage business and asking to open a wholesale account. And that's exactly what he's done. And I know, he's a perfect example of that. And to kind of add on the networking component, right? He came to our event in Las Vegas at the ASD show, met some other folks there. I know he's been growing his network of other Amazon sellers, period. And Miami Seller Conference is a great place to do that at, which I know is kind of going to be what we're touching on tonight as well.
Dude, I'm not even joking. I think the key, like one of the main keys from going to, you know, like that 10K a month or that $1 million a year seller to you, or that 100K a year seller, sorry, to that, you know, 100K month, $1 million a year seller is networking. Like it also means like I don't think most people that are like a one man or one woman operation that get to $1 million a year doing RA don't have any help or even probably wholesale. You probably got one part-time packer at least. You know what I mean? But the main difference is the networking.
Dude,
Because
it's like because Amazon's packing all of our shit anyway. So like people that are like, oh, I just do it all myself. I'm like, bullshit. If you're doing FBA, Amazon's warehouses are storing, prepping, and packing your items. You were just forced to delegate that. You weren't forced to delegate the FBA shipments, but that's optional. You can use a prep center or hire a lister. And so delegation is like it's already being done. You just were forced to delegate FBA.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I just think it's so huge, you know, like besides mastering your own, your processes or whatever, because some people are literally taking 8 hours to make a shipment that should take 3 maximum.
Don Julio, baby.
Cheers.
All right. Tonight we will be revealing the speaker lineup for Miami Sellers Conference. Every time we say Miami, I will be taking a shot of this Don Julio.
Oh, it's gonna be a long
not
swim,
even
man.
Bachelor party.
He stole from my bachelor party.
I have not. I think I've drank this one time, but let's go from top to bottom here. This is in no order of importance. Obviously, it is in order of importance because first off, we have Avery Martin Romer, the Roamer, founder of Go To the Planet. I don't know what I'm at in total lifetime sales. Taylor, do you know what you're at in total lifetime sales? If you had to guess,
who's running the streamer right now? Avery.
200 plus 500 plus a mil would be 1.7 plus 4. I'm probably like 7 or 8. If I had to guess.
Hell yeah, I'm probably at 5 if I had to guess, but I'll just say 4. I've been saying that I feel like for a fucking year, so I have to be close to 5. But had the account shut down shit, so it's hard to track for a while. But yeah, found a go-to lister, blah blah blah. Started book business, sold my book business recently, and now I mainly do wholesale. Which actually, me and Corey will probably be pushing out a lot of content about wholesale soon. I was gonna see if we wanted to shoot some YouTube videos, and maybe we can do like a free training for my audience because that's what I do. But I feel like you're a lot better at finding suppliers than I am. So my main way of finding suppliers is to go to Miami Sellers Conference and just steal everyone else's suppliers. So that's why you should come to Miami Sellers Conference.
But wait, so hold on. I know that's a shameless plug. I don't blame you one bit. But like to kind of go further into like how does networking with other sellers help you grow your wholesale business, like tactically speaking? Mm-hmm. And I think a big part of it is it's one thing to like meet other sellers and talk about Amazon, the business as a whole. That's great. But you would be shocked how many other sellers are willing to give you information that you think they would be like, why are they telling me this? Right? It's like, what? Yeah. It's because for a number of reasons, right? Like even a lot of the suppliers that I buy from, it's no secret. Like a lot of people in my community, they know exactly who I'm buying from. In fact, like 15, 20, 30 of us are buying from the same people. It's not a matter of like keeping your supplier secret because there's always going to be another Amazon seller that's buying from your supplier. Instead, it's like, well, okay, if there's going to be other Amazon sellers that are buying from my supplier, instead of competing with them, why don't I like partner with them to either pool our money so we can both get a better price than the other 20 Amazon sellers on the listing, or let's pool our resources and pool our knowledge to go land other suppliers together. Because you'd be shocked how many suppliers, they don't want to sell to some individual Amazon seller. But if a group of 3, 5, 10 legitimate professional Amazon sellers approach that supplier together as more of like a quote unquote buying group, well, all of a sudden the conversation changes. And now you and your boys have access to some opportunities that 99.9% of other sellers are never going to get to access. And that's just one example, right? And that could be a crew of people that you met on Twitter. It could be some guys that you met at an event like a Miami Seller Conference. It could be some random dudes from the internet. But bottom line is like that stuff really, it happens every day, like in every community out there.
If you hook people up with a good supplier and like you're honest and like you guys work together well, like they're probably gonna help you out in the future.
Dude, they're gonna pull you in on the deal. Like this happens to me all. This is why like I don't care about sharing my suppliers. Like people DM me, mainly people in my community, not just random people on like social media. But if somebody hits me up and says, "Hey, I'm trying to source this brand," I'll be like, "Oh, we bought them from so and so supplier, right? Go hit them up." And they're like, "Oh," and a week later they're like, "Oh, hey, actually, we talked to them. We've got a deal on the table. We need like 20K more in capital. Do you want to come in with us?" I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Right. So like it doesn't come around like that every time, but like you'd be shocked how often it does.
Yep.
But yeah, more often than not, when you do good things happen to you too. Surprise.
Yep. Yeah, shocker, right? Like
surprise.
who would have thought?
Taylor,
No, I think it
you
goes
wanna-
along with like a lot of people are on that scarcity mindset. And I mean, I don't blame them because there is some stuff you might not want to share, you know, and I would just
Yep.
call that like trade secrets, you know what I
Yep.
mean? Whether it's a process or a certain connection or whatever, but a lot of stuff, you know, you can share, and the value of sharing it, which is hard to perceive, but the equity that you get from the people that you share with is far greater than, you know what I mean? And it's
It's like relationship equity, really.
exactly. Well, think about it like when you do retail arbitrage and you have found a great item that you sold thousands of, but you have driven far and wide as far as you can't find anymore, right?
Yeah.
There's no harm for you to share that with anybody because no way it could affect you at all. That's like free goodwill. You know what I mean? And so it's like that illustrates the point, but you help, that's our language. We all speak money. You help someone make money, they're your friend. That's it.
Yeah, that's bottom line, like end of story.
I think that's like in business, that's the way to show respect is like buying your friend's products. Like I bought Trevin Peterson's course the other day. I could have asked for it for free, but I'm like, I'm going to support him. And look, he's already given Miami shout outs right now. And so like, you know, I didn't do that to get a Miami shout out, but it just goes to show like, that's how you show love. But Taylor, do you want to introduce Rebecca and Amazon Lit?
Yeah, Rebecca, we had her last year was her first year speaking with us, and she's helped dozens of people get ungating. I know that's one of her big services, but she sells herself. She's been selling for I think over 2 years now, RA and I think a little bit of OA. And yeah, she's pretty new to the space, but been helping a lot of people, blowing up for some of her retail arbitrage content. So she'll be back. And then we got Eric and Sebastian. I think Sebastian will be back with him.
And hopefully Humble Ted is coming too this year.
All right. And I mean, they're one of the biggest people in the space with eSellers RI, helping people get into wholesale, scaling their business. I think they're doing what, like 80 million annually in revenue.
Yeah.
Huge operation.
With them, they're nine-figure sellers. So they've crossed 100 million mark in lifetime sales. And this year I have a vision of, and they said they're down with this, but do a whole workshop with them on wholesale. Cause I think they're the best speakers. No offense to anyone else. Like they fucking just move the audience and people love them, but they're also like a very advanced kind of talk. I don't think everyone needs their talk. So what we might do is like divide it into, different rooms at this point, but for people that want to scale their wholesale business,
no, you can't divide them into a separate room. Maybe for something else.
That's segregation.
No, I'm just saying they're the headliner, bro. Like, I mean, I don't know what position you're going to put them in, but just like, it's definitely, they're not going first. You know?
I think one more thing to add too, though, with Eric, and I know Reezy, I mean, with all of us, I mean, Eric, and I mean, he has a really good story, like where he came from. And I think that's one of the most inspiring thing about a lot of these speakers is it's like almost none of us were like came from a bunch of money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's one of the coolest things is we all have a story of like how we got to being here and sharing. And I think that's one of the coolest things.
Yeah. I'll definitely vouch for that. Like, and that's, so the people that come to mind specifically about like literally zero to hero type story are Reezy, Eric, and Sebastian.
You heard us talk at Books and Beyond.
I would love to hear it, but like Reezy, Eric and Sebastian, and Larry, right? Like I guess all four of those guys, stories are fantastic and very relatable because there's so many people that are at whatever stage of their journey they're at. Like those four guys were there at one point, and now to have reached the pinnacle of their niche and of the kind of the Amazon game, like that's one of the big reasons why people resonate with them so much. And yeah, fantastic stories of like nothing to now some of the biggest out there.
Then we got Watch Me Amazon. He's one of my favorite in the space. He runs
big dog
lean wholesale operation. It's not really super lean, but like compared to other wholesalers, like for a while, he just had two guys packing shit for him. And then he's a big inspiration to me because he made 2D Barcode. That's a listing software for wholesale people. And he just does a couple million a month cruising. And he's
just a couple million a month, you know.
No big deal, you know.
He ain't greedy.
Killing it.
He ain't greedy. He doesn't want 10 million. He just wants a couple million, just cruise. But he knows what he's doing. Like,
dude, no, he is the most humble dude. I fuck with Larry so hard.
He's the
Like
one that got me
I
into wholesale. I
like
didn't know
I just
wholesale was a thing until him.
he's like the most authentic, most loyal dude. Like I one time was having like a conversation with him and we were like talking big money stuff and like we were talking Amazon, but we were also talking investing. We were talking life stuff or whatever. And he like drops like the most like profound like knowledge piece and then he's like, "But what do I know? I sell fucking shampoo for a living."
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like and
love
I
that.
was like, "Yeah, wow, all right, damn."
Lots of it though. That's what
Yeah,
matters.
yeah,
The
but I
volume.
mean it's still just, the humbleness, you know what I mean?
And then to the right of him, we have Mr. Miles. I met Miles years ago in Philly when he was 20, and he wanted me to go drink some beers with his friends. And I was like, "No, I'm good, man." Fast forward like 4 or 5 years, whatever it is. He's probably the hardest worker I know. I think he fully works 14 hours a day. Every time I see him, he's working. And because of that, if you go to any Amazon conference and ask people how they got started, just like people learned about selling on Amazon from Reezy, the most one-on-one coaching I think that's been done in this space is probably Miles.
He's
So
like the Reezy of OA, really. Like he has spawned so many OA goblins who are just like absolute killers. Like the same way Reezy did with, booksellers back in the day and now RA sellers today. 100%. I've never met anybody who works
yeah,
as
I don't
hard
get how
or
he's
as
got so
much.
much time for one-on-ones. Like I do a few one-on-ones and I'm like, I'm fucking good for a few months now.
Yeah, he's doing like
A
6 a
few
day.
months,
Close
you're
the
like, "I'm
program up, I'll
good."
go back to doing jujitsu and salsa. But no, I think he does like 4 or 5 a day, and it's really impressive. And then we have his right hand man, or vice versa, Warner's right hand. I don't know how it goes, but
Partner in crime.
partner in
Yep.
crime, Warner Fields, who has a YouTube channel. He does books, OA. His main business is online arbitrage. And he did a little bit of wholesale for a while, but I think mainly he's cranking with OA now. So he'll be there as well. It's always great having him. And then this is actually one of my biggest inspirations in this space is Vishal. And I always like bringing Vishal because people are like, "Oh, you can't make money selling books." And literally, like out of all the Amazon sellers I know, he makes the most money. Like he's definitely top 10 in terms of like age, like maybe like the older wholesale guys and private label guys, which we'll get into in a second. We got Brandon Young, private label OG in the house. He's like a 50-50 chance of coming. But anyway, Vishal, he does like over $1 million a year in profit. He's just stacking cash. He started with $5,000 in 2020, mid 2020, started with $5,000. And now he's doing 15 million a year at pretty decent margin. And him and Manroop, they both went to college to become accountants. And if you talk to them, they just know every fucking number in their business. And I don't think it's an accident that they make so much profit. I literally think it's that they just like make small adjustments. These other booksellers will do 15 million a year and they're left with like $500,000 profit, which isn't terrible. But if you have like a payroll that's $500,000, you could be cash flow negative at the end of the year if you fuck things up. And these guys just keep things dialed in and they always have really good insight. And I think everybody learns from them too, because the way they run their operation, like there's no operation as complex as running, like in terms of like processing inventory as a book business.
No, his presentation was nuts.
Uh-huh.
Like after it was over, I was like, we're like getting drinks that night, and I was like, "Yo, text me your presentation, bro. I forgot to take notes." Like,
and he's also
I
super
actually
humble
did
too.
take notes, but I also just wanted the presentation also. So, but like, no, it's serious. Like you're saying, it was like next level. Like, not only was he talking about, like, not only were his numbers like profound compared to the industry standard, but his it was so granular. He was like, if we sell a 1 pound book over here on like this platform, we make this, but if we sell it over here, we make 25 cents more. And it was like, oh, that's 26% more. And it was like, he was just talking, he was like illustrating the point of selling across 5 different marketplaces. And just how in depth he knew all the numbers. I couldn't believe it. Like,
right. And then there's also
pretty...
a point of diminishing returns of getting that granular. Like if you get too granular, you lose money, but they're not like that. Cause I was at the warehouse a while ago. And I was like, dude, why don't you just open up? Like, why don't you do this and this and this? Because they weren't like doing certain pallets to different wholesalers. And they're like, Avery, we did the math. Like if we optimize this one location and we were able to sell books to wholesalers, sell back your book, whatever, they're already doing sell back your book, but just a few different things. They're like, we ran the math and it was just better to open up a whole separate location and not keep it as lean and just make double the profit because we're just going to replicate exactly what we're doing here. And so instead they now have 2 warehouses versus 1 and just little things like that. Like a lot of business owners at a small scale or even a large scale, they just get sloppy and they don't really consider stuff
Well,
like
I
that.
think the difference is there's such a big difference between like doing 1 million or doing 10 million, or like even just like doing 1 million like one person, or like doing 1 million in a bulk book warehouse with like more square footage and forklift and multiple employees and like worrying how many times inventory is being touched. It's like, you know what I mean? Like I think at some level, a COO, a chief of operations, really is needed to oversee everything, because like we might know how to recognize the opportunity and how to hustle and like how to do the job, but we might not be the best at like micromanaging, you know, the whole operation, you know, and like that's a whole different skill set.
Next up, we got Brandon Young, who I don't know if you guys know who CoffeeZilla is, but the first time I heard about Brandon Young was when CoffeeZilla absolutely destroyed one of the biggest scammers in the space, Kevin David, who Taylor almost allowed to come to Miami Sellers Conference on accident a few years ago. He was on the phone with Kevin David and was like, "Oh, sure, you want to come, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Dude, fuck that. Kevin David's not coming."
Fuck you, Kevin
So
David.
funny. I didn't
Coffee's
know that. I didn't know that was a thing. That's so.
I didn't even know.
man.
I didn't know he was a scammer at the time. I didn't even know.
So back in the day, like,
Scammer.
now you kind of have like us, where like we're sellers that teach how to sell, but back in the day you had, and you still, I don't think you have as many of these, but you used to be able to just run Facebook ads to a webinar for like $1,000 and people would just print money, and these people wouldn't even make money on Amazon themselves. And something that Kevin David did one time was, and hopefully this YouTube video doesn't get fucking my channel banned, but one time he took a screenshot of someone's sales. I don't know whose it was, but somebody in the Amazon space, and they added an extra comma in the wrong place on the screenshot. And then somebody, obviously they found it, like that's not where the comma goes. It was like 1 0 0 1 comma 0 0 comma. So it wasn't 3 zeros and then a comma, it was like 2 zeros. And then Brandon Young went on CoffeeZilla's YouTube channel and just absolutely destroyed Kevin David and said he should be in jail, blah, blah, blah. And so that's that's the first time I saw Brandon Young. And then the second time he kind of came back up in my radar was at AMZ United this year, which is actually Scott Needham's event. And I'm like, I'm going to invite this guy because we have more interest in private label. I'm toying around with it a little bit. I'm trying to launch some stuff. Taylor's doing some stuff. And so as you can see, we've invited more private label people this year. And I feel like Miami Sellers Conference is kind of always a reflection of what me and Taylor are currently interested in. And private label is definitely piquing our interest. So there's going to be a whole section or a whole talk dedicated to private label, maybe even a whole workshop dedicated to that as well. So that's Brandon Young. Taylor, you want to talk about Trevin?
Yeah, I mean Trevin and Cade, I mean just solid dudes. From Utah. Trevin he started private label. I mean, I think he started his YouTube channel 6 or 7 years ago. Like he's been in the space for a long time. I think he's got multiple different brands. Like it's not like he just had a one-off thing that was successful. I think he's got like I think 3 different brands that he's launched that are successful, that are doing 6 figures a month, and really, really impressive. I mean, I texted him the other day because all of a sudden my 1PL product, like it just stopped. The ad cost went way up. He asked me a couple questions and like I had it fixed in like 30 minutes. And I was like, so he just knows his shit. Also, which another cool thing about Trevin and Cade is they're both in the weeds experts with the influencer program, the Amazon reviewer program, and they have a whole software helping people. Cade recently has blown up on Instagram, inspiring people to get out of their comfort zone. He's done some crazy cool things that have gotten a lot of attention. And I'm pretty sure, I know Cade's making over 10K a month on the reviewer program. I don't know about Trevin.
I think it's like a career account, but yeah, they're doing well over 10K.
Yeah,
now.
and
on TikTok alone, they're doing like 12K. Like he's done like 12K in the last 30 days.
yeah, so they're a really great resource whether you want to get into private label or social media or the reviewer program or TikTok shop.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, like, there's a lot of crossover in the reviewer program because what they're doing is they're reviewing Amazon products. And so if you have a private label product, it would probably sell a lot better if there was videos reviewing that product. And I think that's kind of a cool crossover that maybe we'll see more of in the future. Like, I think potentially we could have like some type of sponsor that reviews your products. You know what I mean? Like that would be pretty smart for someone to do. At least at a private label conference, it would be smart, so cool there. And then we got Javier from Miami, Venezuelan. He's got his own event in Miami as well. And he does, how much does he do a year? Do you know, Taylor?
I do not know, actually. I think it's like 10 mil. I don't know though. Don't quote me on that. I thought it was 10 mil.
Yeah, it's up there. So
Well, I just want everybody. Another thing I was gonna say earlier when Wendy commented about like getting started. Like, guys, I was so stupid. I was posting everything that I was buying on TikTok. Literally my first 2 years selling on Amazon, and then I would wonder why the listings would tank, and I still ended up making money. But yeah, like
Yeah, there's a big difference between sharing in a small group of people that want each other to win and, they'll each keep up their end of the deal, versus just
publicly sharing everything blindly.
sending your information to China.
Yeah, or on like Twitter, like, God forbid.
Oh man, dude, people have no morals at all, or ethics. Like the average person, I feel like if they have no emotional connection, they're just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, sharing
Like
leads. That's why, like, yeah, in a small group setting, it makes a lot more sense. But tweeting or putting on TikTok what you're buying. I mean, Taylor, the fact that you still made money on those is still pretty impressive, right? Like,
dude, it's crazy. I didn't even realize until literally 2 years into RA, or probably a year and a half. Like, oh wait, I think people might be competing with me. I literally didn't even
wait a
think
second.
about. That's how blind I was, bro.
That's so amazing.
And
dude, I love that too, because I hear from my students all the time. I'm sure you hear this too, Corey, is that like, of course, I love teaching people that come in, and haven't done anything and are already starting from zero. But oftentimes I get students that have like measurable success on their own, even though they made a lot of mistakes. Like, they're like, I made every mistake, like, and I'm like, yeah, but you still did, 150,000 gross in your first year. Right. Like, this is going to be so fun teaching you, because it's just, you know what I mean? Like, we just need to dial it, and just like stop some of these mistakes. But it's just like, yes, you can. That's how easy Amazon is. I'm not saying it's not hard work, but it's like, I feel like hooking up your printer and using a spreadsheet is probably the hardest part about selling on Amazon.
Well, the hardest part is getting from 0 to 1, right? Like getting somebody who's never sold anything before, getting them to like 5K a month is a million times harder than getting the guy who's doing 5K a month, getting him to 50K a month or 100K a month. Like, give me somebody who's doing 5 to 10K a month, and we'll get them to 100K a month within 3 months if they have enough capital, right? Like all day long. Because usually it's just like a couple of, like you said, it's like a couple levers that we've got to pull that make all the difference. And it's stuff that they're either just, they have blind spots and they don't know what they don't know. And that's what, I mean, a lot of times.
And it is also too the main that like get over, like make your first sale. Like, what do I do? Make your first sale. Like
sell anything. I don't care to make money.
One sale. Like, exactly. Focus on the process, not the profit. You like make one sale. Okay, you did that. Make 10 sales. You already did it once. Just do it 9 more times. And then after you do that, make 100 sales. Yep. And then from there, like before you know it, you're at a 10K month.
Yeah.
There you go.
The biggest limiting belief is like I took my brother when he was here in Hawaii because he set up a seller account, and we went into Walmart for like an hour, and we genuinely didn't find anything in the clearance section. Like, it was a total wash. And he looked at that hour, and he's like, oh, this opportunity is not worth it. I spent an hour. And what people don't realize is like, you not find anything in the stores or even OA or wholesale for the 3rd or 10th hour. But if you found $1,000 of profit on that 10th hour, like, would that 10 hours not be worth it?
An hour. Not to mention you just spent 10 hours getting significantly better at sourcing.
Yeah.
So like that's where, I mean, some people they're very short-sighted. They're like, oh, I sourced for 3 hours. I didn't make any money. It's like, well, okay, you didn't make any actual dollar profit, but you just got 3 hours better at sourcing. So next time you go sourcing, you're going to be, 5% more efficient, which is going to help you find things 5% faster. And it's like that compounds as long as you don't quit.
Yep.
That compounds over the next days, weeks, months, and years. And then next thing you know, you're sourcing at a rate of like $10,000 profit per hour, which, by the way, is not an exaggeration at all. We placed a purchase order on, it was the day before Thanksgiving, Wednesday, $96,000 purchase order, 35% ROI after returns. So you're talking about, $33,000 profit from, I swear to God, what took 5 minutes of effort because it was a replen. And that's the type of like dollar per hour you'll get to when you stick with this business for 2, 3, 5, 7, 10 years, like Breezy,
Yeah.
for example.
Yep.
The last speaker we have obviously Reezy and Corey here, but we also have Scott Needham, who created Smart Scout. At one point, he was like top 15 sellers. I think he was like top 10.
Top 10, yeah, they were huge.
Yeah. And he's kind of leaned out his wholesale operation, but he created Smart Scout, which is a great wholesale sourcing tool to find suppliers. It does a lot of cool stuff. He's also, and this is like kind of funny, like he's our competition in a way because he runs an Amazon conference too, but it's really not competition. It's like a positive sum game. I go to his conference, he speaks at mine, and it just goes to show like in this space, you can all come together and it's like a net positive sum game. Like so many people, even on the speaker lineup, are technically my competition, whether we're selling the same products, selling similar software, competing for the same audiences. But at the end of the day, it's still worth it to all get together and learn from one another. So, boom.
It's just about, it's having that abundance mentality, right? And like, don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of falling into a scarcity mentality all the time, right? I'll see like,
us, man.
yeah, and like for example, like I'll see an ad from like Amazon Lit. I'm like, damn, like that's they're targeting the same customers that we're targeting for on the coaching side. But then I like stop for a second. I'm like, wait, there are what 2 million active Amazon seller accounts, and there are how many millions of people who are interested in selling on Amazon? So until there are 2 million people in either the wholesale network or in eSellers RI, then the market is nowhere close to tapped out, right? Like that's what I got to remind myself. I'm like, we're all on the same team. As long as you're a good person, which all the speakers here are, like there's unlimited opportunity. There's no such thing as competition, in my opinion.
100%. All right, one last thing.
There's so much opportunity on the internet, and I think that's another thing about the network is like, yes, you guys, you are an Amazon seller, you meet more Amazon sellers, you'll make more Amazon money, but we all don't just sell on Amazon. At least 50% of every Amazon seller I know that's killing it has other businesses. Yep. And they're talking about those too. And it's like, oh, you don't do Turo? I got a fleet of Turo vehicles. Oh, you don't do Airbnb? I got 28 Airbnbs. What are you waiting on? Like, do you know what I mean? You learn more. And it's like, I feel like when I was a broke person, I used to be like, my network is like, no matter what, I'll always have a couch to sleep on. Do you know what I mean? Right. Like you always have a couch to sleep on as long as you're a good guest and you have homies. But like with business, I'm just like, like even if Amazon or YouTube blew up, like I can start another niche that I could learn from somebody. Somebody will be like, hey, holding the torch, like, hey, Reezy, we're fucking going over here. Come over here. We're making money over here. Like literally, like, where are my people at? Come this way, like, and I think that's the power of like really having people that care about you. Like not even just like networking, because like networking is a little more of a shallow term. I might learn some stuff from you, but I might want to not share some stuff because I might kind of not trust with you or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, when you really know someone and care about them and trust them to where, like, you would let them stay at your house or whatever, like, those people have your back. Like, I feel like there's zero chance my family will ever go hungry again as long as I'm willing to work and I know the right people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, regardless of my opportunity specifically.
And it's all about, but like, networking, I agree, is kind of like a shallow term. It's thrown around a lot. It's more so like how many friends can you make in your niche, right? And then how many friends can you make in adjacent niches? And it's like you said, the more like legitimate friends you have in this business, the more money you're going to make. And one more point I'll make, and I'm sure we'll talk more about networking, but like a great example of this, have you guys ever seen that show Undercover Billionaire? Where like Grant Cardone was in that show, for example. They take like legit billionaires, they drop them off in some random city in the middle of the US, and they have 30 days. I think the goal is to generate $1 million in 30 days. They can't use their reputation. They can't use their network. They can't use resources. They can't use anything. And the first thing that these people always do when they get dropped into a new town is they go like they go find somebody and they try to find out who the movers and shakers are in their town. They're like, hey, who do I need to know in this town? Because they know that that's the biggest leverage. Like Grant Cardone, as smart as he is and as good as of a business person as he is, he can't just like poof create $1 million from scratch in 30 days, right? He's got to meet a guy who knows a guy who can connect him with another guy who can then give him an opportunity to make $1 million in 30 days. Like that is the name of the game. And if they're doing it at the highest level, then why wouldn't we be doing it at our level, right? In the Amazon bubble that we're in.
Exactly.
How did Grant do it?
I didn't watch his exact episode. I only watched the first episode. I didn't watch it all the way through, but that's literally what he did. He got dropped in some town and he was like, he went to, I think it was like a hotel concierge, and he was like, hey man, I'm new here. I'm getting into business. Like, who do I need to know here? And the
That
guy's
is
like, oh,
such a good person to
dude,
ask.
it's genius, right?
Damn.
So genius. And the guy's like, he's like, because dude, the concierge knows, he's like, you know, he knows
know
who's
all
rolling in
the
in the Rolls
ballers.
Royce. He's like, yeah, oh,
Exactly.
this guy's always coming in at noon in his Rolls Royce for a lunch meeting with this guy, and you know, and you got to keep an eye on that girl because she's always with so and so, and it's like,
Bro,
dude,
I'm not
so
even playing
genius.
right now. The concierge play is a tip right now. Someone's gonna make $1 million off of that one tip right there. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I always feel like when I go to a dope conference like Miami Seller Conference, is like, yes, I meet people, and yes, I learn stuff from the presentations or whatever that help me dial my business, but there's always like one thing that's like an aha moment that you're like, oh wow.
It's like the
basic
10x
stuff.
ROI.
Yeah, well, like one time for me, it was, you know, trying to locate bulk book suppliers, and it was just really simple. It was like, hey, when you get to a dead end, ask those people if they know anybody that might have supply, you know, and it turns a no into a maybe, you know what I mean? And you're just, you know what I mean? Anyways, I was like, dude, that gave us like 3 new suppliers.
Yep.
Yeah. So real quick, we got all these notable attendees. All of these people at least were on a panel or maybe past speakers, and they're invited again. We still have to bulk up this list a little bit. And if you guys know of anyone, or if anyone's watching this and they want to be added to this list, just slide me a DM at Roma the Roamer on Instagram. I want to go over the pricing, and then we'll go over exact. I guess we go over both right now. So this pricing is absolutely ridiculous, and it ends Monday at midnight. So my team accidentally misread my text, and they added an additional 30% off for the already discounted 30% 3 tickets. So you're not only getting 30% off for buying 3, you're also getting 30% off the Black Friday deal. So here we go, $1,800 for the VIP. And if you enter Black Friday here and click on apply, it brings it down to $1,300, which is just $458 per ticket. That includes the after party. And if you get just a general admission, it brings it down to $330 something, I believe. And
does that include the yacht as well?
No, the yacht one is right here. So you can save up to $1,000 this weekend. So if you click on apply, this is crazy deal. You're paying $681. People pay $1,500. Like our average ticket price for this conference is about $1,000, and that's including general admission, everyone. So you're literally getting it half off right now if you guys decide to purchase this weekend.
3 tickets for $681. So get together with your homies and grab 3.
100%.
Yep, that's the way to do it.
And this year we've kind of simplified.
Now, if you buy in the next 1 hour, Avery will give you a back massage.
That's actually Beth will be coming to Miami Sellers Conference. She was giving massages at Books and Beyond. So
that would be so sick to hire a masseuse.
She's fucking good, man. I almost fell asleep at the end. But what we've kind of found at Miami is the most valuable thing is after party. And so we've just maximized that this year. We're going to
explain it though, like the value, because I think if you don't understand, like, for example, how many days is it? How many times do I not have to pay to feed myself? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Like, yeah, get into the details too. Because I think some people might see that ticket price, especially if they're newer sellers, and be like, whoa, like, hey, I haven't even, maybe I haven't even sold 2,000 on Amazon yet. And I'm got to spend all this money for a conference. Like, what is that going to get me? Right. And we know the value, but I think
it's basically a 5-day event. Cause like I said, like the talks are great, but really the value is in the networking. So what we've done is we're going to have a networking party Wednesday night, after party, an official after party in a private venue on Thursday night. and then another one on Friday night, and then the yacht, which is like so much fucking fun. We got in a yacht on Saturday, and we're gonna try to extend that to like 4+ hours this year. But really, what we're trying to facilitate is that environment where everyone feels comfortable, which, every single year we've allowed somehow to get everyone in this. I don't even think it's like me and Taylor's like fault as much as I would like to think that it's us as leaders that makes this happen. I think it's the fact that everyone gets together and we're all just so fucking nerdy and driven and everything. And this energy just happens. And then we go to the after party together, and then everyone just keeps talking. And this allows bonds to be created. And so many times.
So the conference is Friday, is
So
Friday,
so
and
Je-
Thursday and Friday.
I'll explain it. Yeah. So a platinum ticket, you get the general admission on all day event on Thursday. That includes lunch. All day event on Friday, which does not include lunch. The after party on Thursday, and the yacht and then on Friday too. I think we're doing 2 after parties, Avery.
Yeah, after party.
Okay, so platinum includes general admission Thursday, Friday, after party Thursday, Friday, and yacht on Sunday.
And those are both catered, the after parties, so you don't have to buy dinner those nights.
I don't know about catering, but they're open bar. I don't know because
we'll probably have hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
So the Thursday night after party, which is being hosted by our community, the Wholesale Network. So that'll be an open bar.
Let's go, baby.
That'll have hors d'oeuvres, and we're doing it right. And anybody that attended our event in Vegas, which was a free event then, can vouch for how awesome this one's going to be, right? So Thursday night, open bar, hors d'oeuvres.
Damn, yo,
shout all outs. The fixins. Yeah, yes, Sadiq's going to be old enough to drink this year. So
that is amazing. That's amazing. I'm buying you.
It's going to be a good time. Yeah,
that said, thank you for the massage shout out. So
if you guys are on the fence though, like what Corey, going back to what you were saying, and you're like, I'm a new seller, the move is probably to get a general admission ticket for you and a buddy. Come on Wednesday night to the networking. That's free. Go to the event on Thursday all day, have a free lunch. All you got to do is buy one dinner, right, at night. And then if you're getting the value, which we're all pretty certain that you will, then you always will have the option to pay for the after party as an upsell or the yacht as an upsell at the event. It's going to be.
You could also always bribe the doorman too. So just show up. You got to show up, though.
You're not going to be able to get cheaper prices. It's going to be.
You are not going to get the cheaper price, though, if you do it that way. But if you're skeptical,
check it out, though. If you do a gen admin, right, and you're like, I don't know, but I'll just go like the cheapest option, right? I guarantee you're going to either want to upgrade or wish you would have. And then the next year, you're going to come back and you're going to go all the way.
Yeah.
That's it. Because it's just how it works, Like, even if you can't afford a ticket, do yourself a favor and come through to the free meetups and like meet and mingle. And guess what? The next year you'll figure out how to get a ticket.
And what are the dates?
Free meetup could change your life.
What are the dates?
May 1st, 2nd, or technically it's April 30th is Wednesday. So get in April 30th. I recommend leaving on Sunday night, or even Monday, because networking is going to be going on throughout the weekend. So it's going to be Wednesday night, Thursday, all day, all night. We're starting at 10 a.m. each day. Friday, Saturday is the yacht day, which I highly, highly recommend. And then all the speakers also are going to be on the yacht in the after party. So a big value add is that you're going to be able to talk with all the speakers.
Let me plug 2 things that I really like real quick. So I really like the after parties, and not every conference has an after party. Sometimes it's like we're all going over here or we're all going, but like it never works out that way. 25% of people go to their hotel room, like it's no good. But when there's an open bar after party by the place, and especially if it's like even semi-catered, everybody shows up, and it is just such a dope, like, you know what I mean? You get to actually, because otherwise you barely get to meet people like in the hallways with your coffee and at lunch. But at the after party, you're like, I saw this dude, we talked to him, but then at the after party, I was breakdancing with him. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that dude is my homie now. You know what I mean? Like, you can really connect with people. And I think that you guys, the younger generation, the 30 or under, like movers and shakers in the Amazon space, pioneered that. Because traditionally, conferences were being ran by people that were like 40 plus, 50 plus, and they were not thinking like that. You know what I mean? And then you guys were like, 8 a.m. is too early, 10 a.m. Party every night, 10 a.m. start time. You know what I mean? And then what you're saying about the yacht, I think for the people that really want to connect with the speakers, the yacht is amazing. Whether it's like spend time with them or network, because as a speaker, and I love sharing and helping people and talking to people, I get literally just like winded and tired from doing it for so much the whole time.
Yeah.
Like I'm hungry, I'm the last person to eat because I'm still talking to people,
Yeah.
forgetting
Yep.
I'm eating. And I'm like, dude, they're going to put the food away. Let me go get some food. But on the yacht, I'm just like, I'm chilling because like there's way less people, you know, trying to get a piece of me. And so it's like I don't know, it's a quality time with the VIPs because we're all just relaxing.
You get a higher quality person. Like so many times on the yacht, I'm like, oh, like, did you enjoy the conference? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, how's your little Amazon business going? And then they're like, oh yeah, I just crossed 8 figures for the first time last year. And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like there's so many heavy hitters out there that like honestly sell more than the speakers. And so that just shows the value of this event if those types of people are paying for
Yep.
tickets.
And at the yacht, you, especially if like you're that person that has like a demonstratable, you know, like you do that much, but you want to maybe try and take it to the next level. Like I might think you're another speaker, honestly. Like, do you know what I mean? Like talking, and then I was just like, oh, I thought you were a speaker the whole time. Oh, what's up, dude? Let me get your number. But like that whole interaction would be a lot different when I'm being accosted by other people, and then you know what I mean? I'm like, no offense, but I'm just like, it's, you know, you get more of a peer connection opportunity in that environment, and that's pretty cool.
Well, to that point, I mean, that's how you and I really originally connected, was at I think it was the 2023 the Miami Seller Conference. It was the after party at what was that bar? The Wharf, I think it was called, or wherever you guys had kind of the open bar event. And I remember it was like 1:30 a.m. and I was about to head home, and I see Reezy sitting over by the bar, and I'm like, dude, that's the guy that got me into Amazon. So like I walked up to you, and I remember we were taking shots of Jameson until like 2:30 in the morning. And you know, we would have connected had it not been for that after party and that more like intimate setting, like you said, where it's like they're more serious sellers. They're people who are there to like network and kind of grow, as opposed to just like sit there and participate in the conference, which obviously is great, but it's just more of a deeper connection.
Yeah, and look at this picture here. So what happened last year, me and Taylor did not intend for this to happen, but outside the conference, it became like a networking area. And I went to Amazon Accelerate this year in Seattle, and it was actually like I expected to be not that cool. It was a dope ass conference. And I texted Taylor the other day. I'm like, dude, like at Amazon Accelerate, they had like an open bar the whole time downstairs. Maybe we should do that too. I don't think we're gonna do that. I think we might do that on day 2. We might have like a bartender somewhere at like maybe at like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But something really cool that happened is everyone was out here. The influencers were out here, and people were just shooting content. You can see Reezy in this picture. Corey, you're in that picture on your phone. Kaj is next to you. There's Sawyer, and everyone was just back here talking, you know, the whole time. And it was actually like at first I was kind of pissed. I'm like, guys, get in the room. Let's give these speakers respect. But I think this year we're going to just kind of like give everyone a heads up. We definitely want people in the room like the first half of the day, but the second half of the day, you know, this is probably going to happen again, where everyone's just outside shooting content, having fun, networking, playing.
I mean, I don't know what the you know, happy medium is on this, because obviously, you know, yes, you want the rooms packed for the people that are coming to speak, especially the ones that aren't being paid, that are giving their own time to, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you do want the people who bought tickets to be able to do what they want to do. And if they feel like networking is more valuable, then that's what's up. Like, so I'll go to conferences that have like multiple people speaking at the same time. And so you can't see everyone. It's impossible. You have to choose, you know? And so, and then they sell the videos too. And so I'm always like, okay, I always buy the videos, because then I'm like pressure relief. Now I don't feel like I have to chase down. There's certain stuff I do want to see in person, but what I find out is that who's in the hallways when everyone's speaking? The people who are speaking next.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, the caliber of the people that are in the hallways, I feel like those are the people I want to network with. And so I don't know, do it however you guys want to do it. But personally, I feel like you guys should sell the videos because people will buy them.
Yeah,
You know,
we sold the videos last year, and it did all right. Shout out Steve Rakin for helping with that.
Well, and the other thing too is like, again, knowing that networking is going to be happening in the hallways, like regardless, no matter what. And I know that you guys, like you said, it's going to happen regardless. So I'd say almost like lean into it, right? Like encourage it in some way. Obviously, you want people paying attention to the speakers, but if that's going to be happening one way or the other, then make sure that while it does happen, that people are getting the most value out of it as possible.
Yeah, and we know it's going to happen this time. Again, like I thought it was going to happen at Books and Beyond as well, but it didn't because the venue was like different. But since this is the same exact venue as last year, we know it's going to happen again. This is the first year we're doing the event at the same venue because it was so good doing it at this venue last year. And one small tweak we're making this year, we're going to try to have the yacht depart from the river right outside the venue, which is actually what we did the year before, but we just didn't have the Hyatt as the venue the year before. So we departed the yacht the previous year. That's where like Taylor did the backflip, and I think Reezy, you were like filming or whatever. We have a picture there. But this year we're going to try to make the yacht depart from where the river's at.
Yeah, that'd be way more convenient if possible. But I mean, either way, people that paid for the yacht are going to walk to it, even if they have to walk.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like I'm not going to not go just because I have to walk like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, paid $1,000 for this ticket.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. Well, you guys should have a valet to take people.
Yeah,
to
shuttle,
the
something
yacht.
like that.
Hey, we might have Gary Vee this year, so we got to keep it lean.
That would be wild.
Reezy
You know
can hook that
what?
up.
Can you guys wait? Let's see if Corey and Reezy can guess what his speaking fee is.
For what, 60 minutes?
I don't know. Like they just said what his speaking. I don't know if it's 30 or 60.
I bet
But,
150 grand.
I was
150
not
to
going to say
250.
30 or 60. I was going to say 100 or 150.
No, I was saying 30 to 60 minutes. I think
Minutes.
it's about 150 grand for 30 to 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Reezy, what's your guess?
I don't know if I was going to say 100 or 150, but it's pretty much the same as Corey's guess.
250,000.
Holy
Nice.
shit.
Hey,
And the
as
crazy thing is
biggest-
people
as the-
pay it.
As the biggest Gary Vee fan here, possibly, I think that's a waste of money. And I think that Gary would tell us all the same.
We offered
Probably
him.
would.
We
He'd be like,
actually
"You wanna
offered
pay it?"
him.
Like,
We
Not
offered
even
him
joking.
70. We offered him 70, and his guy's like, "Hey, like, sorry, I don't think it's gonna be worth it for us." I was like, "Damn."
Dude, okay, so here's another idea if you guys want to take it to the next level. Instead of spending money like that on Gary Vee, I think you should buy entertainment. Hear me out. I went to a conference once and they had like the after party, right, at the venue, and they brought in rappers to perform and a stand-up comedian. So it was like everyone gets a ticket, the bar's open, but then it was like, you know, this person at this time, and then a comedian, and it was fucking fire.
That's how Amazon Accelerator was, man. They had
It doesn't have to be like the top tier, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, just like,
Nico did an after party. They had like pole dancers. It was fucking crazy.
well, I mean, it's like if you're trying to put, you know, I don't know, for like 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying you need to get Andrew Schultz, but I'm just saying that kind of
Hey,
stuff.
that could be a good idea. That could be a good idea.
The bonding vibe type stuff.
Okay.
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 Okay, Mike.
Okay.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here. Remember, tickets are 30% off the already deeply discounted 30% rate. We are going to raise prices.
Did you guys put a link in the chat or the
y'all's links are in the
description?
description, right?
Yep, my link's in my
I
description.
think
Yep.
I tried to spam it.
Support your influencers or whatever you want to call us, internet marketers.
Support your local influencer.
Your local internet marketer.
Guys,
just doesn't
don't
sound nearly as
forget to
appealing.
pop your Nicorettes.
Dude.
You guys are animals.
Avery, you're in trouble, bro. You left a Nick pack in the backyard and my dog almost ate it.
Dude, I think his dog ate my Black and Mild.
I might have found it in the poop.
We got to pass these out this year too. This is acquisition.com. I went to Alex and Mosey's event. They handed out gift bags at the end. So we're definitely going to be doing this. And big shout out to Kate. Last year, she helped with a lot of stuff.
Yes.
She got roped back in because of Corey. She will still be helping out with the after party.
She couldn't get out it even if she tried.
Yeah.
She couldn't get out.
What did
Sweet.
Kate switch teams? Does Kate work for you now, Corey?
Yeah, she works. She helps us with the wholesale network, and she's helping me with some of my personal stuff too. And she's fantastic. So she'll be helping, and I mean she'll be helping put together the after party for Thursday night, which is all the more reason to attend because if anybody knows how to run an event, it's that girl. So it's going to be awesome.
Yep.
I really am looking forward to it.
It was so awesome when she was running the MSC. I felt well taken care of.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I was like, what am I supposed to do? And I turn around and she's right there, like, come this way, Reezy. Like
Yeah,
every
just
time
like-
I didn't know what to do, she was right there, like, come this way.
Yeah.
Your guardian angel.
That's gonna
Exactly.
be Taylor this year. He's
Hey,
gonna
darkness.
put on a big-
Corey does do mentorships. Let him bring you into the light.
Heck yeah. Well, all right, guys. We'll talk soon. Guys, get your tickets, 30% off, plus 30% off, whatever math that is. That's like 120% off, right? So go to MiamiSellersConference.com and get your tickets. And remember, this is already like early bird pricing, and it's got these discounts, so you're not going to get a better price than this. The only time you get a better price than this is if you buy the tickets for next year right after the event. Everyone that bought their tickets right after the event last year got the best deal, but this is the second best deal you can get. So much love,
Awesome.
guys.
Corey, Reezy, great to see you. Avery, great to see you.
See you guys soon.
See you guys. Bye.
See y'all.